What if the most decisive battles of the 21st century aren't fought with bullets, but with signals? What if a nation's best defense isn't the thickness of its armor, but its mastery over an invisible world that surrounds us all? This isn't a sci-fi pitch. It's the reality of modern war. It's a silent, invisible conflict, fought with 1,000 different signals, where victory and defeat are measured in megahertz and gigabytes. This is the story of electronic warfare, the dark art that's deciding battles right now, from the deserts of the Middle East to the drone-filled skies of Eastern Europe. The invisible war is already here. Imagine this: a Russian fighter jet in the skies over Ukraine locks onto a target. The pilot systems are green, the missile is ready. But just as the launch command is given, the radar screen dissolves into a sea of digital chaos. The multi-million-dollar missile veers off, chasing a ghost that was never there. That wasn't a malfunction. That was a kill without a single shot fired. It's a brutal demonstration of electronic warfare, a domain where controlling the electromagnetic spectrum has become the ultimate key to survival and victory. So how does a modern military blind its enemy before the first shot is even fired? The answer lies in mastering the electromagnetic spectrum. Think of the spectrum as the invisible terrain where this war is fought. It's the medium that carries everything from your Wi-Fi signal to the critical communications and radar that militaries depend on. Controlling this invisible high ground is the core of electronic warfare, or EW, and it all boils down to three main jobs. First up is electronic attack, or EA. This is the sharp end of the stick. Its entire purpose is to disrupt, deceive, or destroy the enemy's ability to use the spectrum. This is the digital equivalent of a smokescreen, using powerful jamming signals to blind enemy radars or flooding their comms channels with noise, so units can't talk to each other. It also gets sneaky with spoofing, sending false signals to mislead an enemy. You could create a phantom army on a radar screen or, more terrifyingly, trick a GPS-guided weapon into thinking its target is a mile away from where it actually is. Next, you have electronic protection, or EP. If EA is about throwing digital punches, EP is about having a great defense. This is the art of making your own gear resistant to an enemy's electronic attacks. This covers everything from advanced encryption that keeps your comm secure, to radars that can hop between frequencies in a split second to dodge jamming. In a world saturated with electronic noise, EP is what ensures your own forces can still talk, navigate, and fight. Finally, there's electronic support, or ES. This is the intelligence gathering side of the house. Before you can attack or defend, you have to listen. ES is all about quietly detecting, identifying, and locating the enemy's electronic signals. By just passively listening, you can map out an entire air defense network, pinpoint enemy command posts, and get a clear picture of their battle plan, all without sending out a single ping that gives away your own position. Together, these three pillars, attack, protection, and support, form a constant cycle. You listen for the enemy, you protect yourself from their attacks, and you go after their ability to use the spectrum. Whoever can run this cycle faster wins. The idea of electronic warfare isn't new. It's been around since the earliest days of radio, with rudimentary forms of signal jamming and interception used as far back as World War I. But the conflict that truly put modern EW on the world stage was the 1991 Gulf War. It was a textbook case of how a technologically superior force could use the invisible battlefield to completely dismantle a powerful air defense system. When coalition forces launched Operation Desert Storm, they faced a huge threat: an Iraqi air defense network built in the Soviet style. It was a vast, integrated system with countless surface-to-air missiles and anti-aircraft guns. A head-on assault would have been incredibly costly. So, the coalition decided to win the war in the spectrum first. The first shots of the air war weren't bombs, they were electrons. Specialized aircraft like the US Air Force's EF-111 Raven and the Navy's EA-6B Prowler led the charge, with one mission: to blind and confuse Iraq's defenses. They blanketed the airwaves with jamming, overwhelming Iraqi radar operators with noise and phantom targets. At the same time, F-4G Wild Weasel jets hunted for the radars themselves, locking onto their emissions and taking them out with anti-radiation missiles. The effect was catastrophic for the Iraqi military. Their command and control was severely degraded, making it incredibly difficult for leaders to direct their forces. Their radar operators were effectively blinded, staring at screens full of static, unable to tell a real F-16 from a digital ghost. This electronic dominance allowed coalition air power to fly with near impunity, striking targets with precision and suffering minimal losses. The Gulf War proved that EW wasn't just a supporting act, it was the main event for achieving air superiority. But the battlefield of today is a whole different beast. Back then, one side had a massive EW advantage. Today, the technology is cheaper, more widespread, and the fight for the spectrum is far more intense. The Gulf War wrote the playbook, but the conflict in Ukraine is adding a brutal new chapter. Nowhere is the vicious reality of modern electronic warfare more obvious than in the skies over Ukraine. This conflict has become the world's most intense laboratory for EW, a relentless, real-time arms race where survival is often measured in hours. Unlike the top-down air campaign of the Gulf War, the fight in Ukraine is a chaotic, ground-level struggle over every single signal. Here's a scenario that plays out every single day. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone takes off to find a hidden Russian artillery piece. It's small, quiet, and a crucial eye in the sky. But as it nears the front line, it flies into an invisible web of Russian EW. Suddenly, its control link is hit with powerful jamming. The operator on the ground sees the video feed stutter, then freeze. The drone, now disconnected, either crashes or is forced to automatically fly home. Mission failed. This is the daily grind. Both Russia and Ukraine have deployed a dizzying array of EW systems to jam drone control links, spoof GPS signals, and shut down radio communications. This has kicked off a frantic cycle of innovation. Early in the war, widespread Russian jamming was a huge problem for Ukrainian drones that relied on standard radio links and GPS. In response, Ukrainian forces and their allies started adapting at lightning speed. They modified drones to rapidly hop between frequencies, improved antennas, and even started using other drones as flying relays to extend their control range. This frantic, high-stakes game of cat and mouse has changed everything. It's no longer just about who has the most tanks. It's about who can adapt their electronics faster. A new software update or a new jam-resistant antenna can provide a temporary but life-saving edge. Some highly specialized drones even use spools of fiber optic cable that connect them directly to an operator, making them physically immune to radio jamming, though they have their own vulnerabilities. To counter GPS jamming, which can send a guided weapon way off course, engineers are now integrating AI-assisted navigation. These developing systems use onboard cameras and machine learning to visually recognize a target, allowing them to finish an attack even if their GPS signal is completely gone. In Ukraine, EW isn't a background feature. It's a central part of the daily fight for dominance. The lessons coming out of Ukraine are sending shockwaves through the world's militaries, hammering home a critical truth. For any modern military platform, from a single soldier to a stealth fighter, electronic warfare is not optional. It is essential survival gear. Take a modern fighter jet like the F-35. Its stealthy shape is designed to make it hard to spot on radar, but stealth isn't an invisibility cloak. In a contested fight, that jet depends on a whole suite of integrated electronic warfare systems to survive. Its sensors are constantly listening for enemy signals. Its onboard jammers can deceive incoming missiles, and it can even deploy decoys that trick enemy weapons. The US is also investing heavily in new, dedicated platforms like the IA-37B Compass Call, a plane whose entire job is to dominate the spectrum, to protect other forces as it enters service. But the most profound shift has come from the explosion of drones. Drones have arguably become the new center of gravity in electronic warfare. They are both the primary target and a powerful new weapon. Small, cheap drones are often sitting ducks for jamming because of their simple radio and GPS links. But at the same time, forces are now deploying drone swarms with their own EW payloads. Some drones act as jammers, some as decoys, and others fly around passively listening to map out the enemy's electronic footprint. This creates an unbelievably complex battlefield. Commanders now worry about self-jamming, where their own powerful EW systems accidentally interfere with their own drones. The future of this fight is all about speed and automation. We're moving towards autonomous EW systems, where an AI can detect, classify, and counter a threat in milliseconds, far faster than any human ever could. The side whose machines can think and adapt the fastest will be the side that wins. From the carefully coordinated air campaigns over Iraq to the frantic, decentralized drone duels in Ukraine, the evolution of electronic warfare has been swift and brutal. It has shown us that modern wars are won not just with firepower, but by controlling the networks, the sensors, and the signals that connect the battlefield. The ability to blind an enemy's eyes, deafen their ears, and cut them off from their forces is the ultimate advantage. The electromagnetic spectrum has become the decisive high ground of modern war, and in the conflicts of the future, fought with autonomous systems at the speed of light, the most powerful weapon will be the one you never see. If you want to understand more about the technologies shaping our world, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments, what part of this invisible war do you find most fascinating? Thanks for watching.